Good morning, Tempo Freaks and Rapid Freaks. Lexiot's here, and it's Wednesday. And the Tempo are playing the Golden State Valkyries today for the first time ever in WNBA history. We have not played Golden State yet. We'll be playing Golden State tonight for the first time. They are on a 5-game win streak, including 3 wins in that win streak over the Atlanta Dream and Angel Reese. This is a serious team. They're in the top teams of the WNBA. Not a whole lot of losses over the year. They've been doing really well. They a lot of their losses are to teams like Las Vegas and Minnesota. Like top teams are the teams that are beating them. They're taking care of business against everybody else. So the Valkyries are no slouch. They're a second year team. They had their expansion year last year. And well, it seems like the WNBA has propped them up for success in all kinds of different ways so that they'll be a good team right away. But we'll just have to see them for the first time tonight and see how their players are. So I've got the latest lineup news. And I've got the refs. I'm going to get right to it right now. All right. First of all, the news out for Tempo is Brittany Sykes is out today. Of course, yesterday they announced the Allstar reserves, and Marina Mabrey is the first ever All-Star in Toronto Tempo history. Sykes had a cause to maybe possibly get all-star also because her stats are really good, but being out for the last bit and being injured right now may hurt her cause. And maybe they, one all-star for Toronto, not two. I don't know. A lot of people are upset for Brittany because she seems to be one of the snubs for all-star for WNBA. But yeah, Brittany is out today. It's still the plantar fasciitis. Kiki Rice is also out today for sure. Her ankle sprain is still being worked on to get back. And they're saying she won't be back until the 14th at the earliest. Temmie's going to miss the game today also. Her injury from the ball hitting her in the face is continuing. She will miss the game today, her second straight game, because of that. So those are our 3 injuries for the Tempo. Julie Alamond is fine and will be available for today, being a late scratch for our game on Sunday. So that's kind of the Tempo injury update. Brittany, Kiki, and Temmie out, and the rest of them are good to go. So yeah. All right, let's see the other side. Valkyries have no injuries right now except for Ilana Rupert, the center. She's got a I don't even know what's wrong with her exactly, but she won't be back till next season. She's out for the year. So center Ilana Rupert is out. But who are the Golden State Valkyries? Well, they have their all-star and longtime player in the WNBA, French player Gabby Williams, who showed up this year. This is her first year with Golden State. She's having an all-star year. They've also got their one of their best players is Veronica Burton at guard, Janelle Saloon at forward, Kia Stokes is the center, Kayla Thornton got caught in the expansion draft last year, and she's flourishing in Golden State. Kalia Charles at guard, Cecilia Zandelasini a forward, Tiffany Hayes a guard, Caitlin Chen a guard. Our Canadian content for today, Letitia Amahir at forward, Justi Yokti, UC Yokti at guard, Ashton Pretchel at forward, Naya Fingal at center, and Mila Sawa at guard. So yeah, that's their roster. That's their team. Well, we'll get to see them in action against our Tempo in Coca-Cola Coliseum tonight. So first ever Toronto versus Golden State in WNBA action. Yeah, some people say that's a grudge match because of the Raptors and the Warriors. Toronto versus Golden State. Well, let's see if this WNBA pairing is a similar energy to it. That's right. All right, our refs for today. These are the crew for our game. Crew chief will be Angelica Suffren. Number 7, Our record with Angelica is 1-1 so far in the Tempo's history. The referee will be Marcy Williams, number 40, longtime veteran ref Marcy Williams, who's been reffing in all kinds of places: FIBA, G League, WNBA, and NBA. That's right. Marcy Williams is from Livingston, New Jersey. She's in her second season as a non-staff official for the NBA. She's one of 7 non-staff officials to work the NBA season last year. Her favorite TV show is Girlfriends. She likes the movie Brown Sugar. She listens to Beyonce. Her favorite book is Eckhart Tolle's New Earth, Awakening to Your Life Purpose. Her favorite meal is soul food. She likes to listen to Apple Music. She'd most like to visit Africa, and her bucket list is to travel for a year, and she is a good bowler. Yeah, Marcy Williams with the Tempo is 2-1 so far this year. So that's a good record, 2-1. And the third ref for today's game is going to be Josh Reed. Josh Reed, number 46, is the umpire. We have not had Josh Reed ref a Tempo game yet this year. So he's 0-0. So the overall record with the referees today for Toronto is 3-2 cumulative between Marcy and Angelica. Yeah, I like Marcy Williams. I've liked Marcy Williams for a couple years now before even watching the WNBA, because I've seen her ref a lot of Raptors 905 games for our Mississauga G League team. So I am familiar with her. Angelica Suffren, yeah, a little bit. I know her a little bit. So yeah, Josh Reed's also a G League ref. So he's refed Raptors 905 games too. So there's your ref report. Marcy Williams, Angelica Suffren, and Josh Reed. That will be our crew for tonight. Yeah, all right. Let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. Yeah, big news yesterday. Big day in the history of Toronto basketball. Kyle Lowry retires as a Raptor, signing his one-day contract in the morning. And then later that evening, the Toronto Tempo have their first ever WNBA All-Star, Marina Mabrey, named to the reserves for the All-Star team. It is only right and just. If there was going to be no Marina Mabrey on the WNBA All-Star team, yeah, pitchforks and torches. Hit the streets, y'all, because we'd be mad about that, right, Tempo Nation? I mean, she is truly the epitome of what a star is in the WNBA. She's a ticket draw. She's an exciting player that makes oohs and ahs and does things that are extraordinary that normal people can't do. So yeah, Marina Mabrey's an all-star. That goes without saying. And well, she is for real. You know, it's kind of interesting to me that she's never been an all-star in her career, journeying around from team to team until now. I think in some ways, the anchoring of being the franchise face of a brand new team has given her a little bit more consideration. You know, it doesn't hurt that she's tied the all-time scoring most points in a game for the WNBA's record. Yeah, it's just right and just. Now, is there a case that Sykes should have been on there also and then switch for an injury replacement? Maybe there's a case there. But we have to understand our place in the standings and also which other teams didn't get a single all-star, including our expansion cousin, the Portland Fire, who did not get an all-star. Also, other teams that didn't get all-star, Phoenix Mercury, probably punishing Alyssa Thomas for a little bit because of the strike to Caitlin Clark's throat punch. Yeah. And then also Chicago Sky, who are a mess. And then the worst team in the league, Connecticut Sun, not getting representation in the all-star this year. So, yeah, we were talking about last night, MJ and I, on the Discord about the teams and who was kind of a suspicious all-star reserve and who were the snubs. So if you want to talk about that subject today on the Raptor Freak Tempo Freak channel, we're talking about all-star snubs in WNBA and also suspicious all-stars on the team that made it. So yeah, if you have 2 cents on any of that, go ahead and put it in the chat and we'll bring it up and we'll talk about it. All right, Daniel Barry's in first today. That's neat. I like that, Daniel. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Check him out. Hello, guys. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you, Daniel. I hope your life is just fantastic and just everything's going awesome for you, my guy. I appreciate your nice messages all the time. I really do. Trevor J is here, the commissioner of fun, Trevor J. This is what he's got for words of wisdom for us this morning. Never regret a day in your life. Good days give happiness, bad days give experience, worst days give lessons, and the best days give memories. Yeah. Yeah, and I've had a one from each category in the last week. You can have all those in the last, in the last week. It could switch like that. Yesterday was a fantastic day. This is definitely a best day. Yesterday, 7-7 in the sixth with Kyle Lowry putting pen to marker to poster board and signing that 1-day contract with Bobby Webster and retiring a Raptor. The effusive love outpouring towards Kyle Lowry from around the league, from former Raptors teammates, from just people in his past has been so awesome to see on social media. Yeah, I think every one of the Padawans of his Raptors time, OG, Pascal, Fred, Norman, Chris Boucher, these guys all acknowledged Kyle's retirement yesterday and posting fun posts honoring him. And it wasn't just them. You've seen Jimmy Butler posting it. You've seen all kinds of NBA players around the league showing respects to our growth. Beautiful, beautiful tribute from CJ Miles for Kyle Lowry. And it's just cool. It's just really, really cool and awesome to see the outpouring of love, respect, and admiration for Kyle Lowry. It came from all kinds of different directions. You got to love it. Oh, you got to love it. So, yeah, yesterday is a memorable best day with Marina and Kyle and their big days. These are big days in the life of those two athletes yesterday. Yeah. There's some worse days. There's some good days. There's some bad days. There's some best days for sure, Trevor. Blessings to the Jones family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Happy game day, Tempo. Let's win. That's right. Let's do a little bit of talk about how we can beat this team. The Tempo in some ways have had their strengths taken away from them by other teams recently. In some ways, this is a really tough time in the schedule, but it should be an easier time. It's a weird, devious kind of thing. The Tempo are on a 9-game homestand. In some ways, that sounds amazing. That sounds like that should be such an advantage. You're on a 9-game homestand. Well, there's this weird 8-day period in the middle of it. We're going to play a bunch of the games somewhere else other than Toronto, like the Montreal game on Friday. And also, we're going to play the Liberty on Sunday in Montreal. It's deceiving. In some ways, you'd want the Tempo to improve the record during a 9-game homestand, but there's a jankiness, jerking around kind of the schedule with timing. So you can't really get a beat of day off on day off on day, because it's weird. And there is travel in this homestand, which is weird. And then you add in the fact that this is the part of the season where the Tempo are starting to have to face some of the toughest teams in the league. You got Dallas that we just got on Sunday. You got Golden State today. We got Dallas again. Then we're going to get New York again. And yeah, the Aces are in the horizon this month on this homestand. And so is the Lynx, where we got to go play them after the Allstar break in Minnesota. Yeah, this is going to be, there was going to be an evening out. In some ways, the WNBA schedule makers gave us a runway to start the season as an expansion team against some easier opponents, just to get some good feeling wins early. But they saved the tough stuff for later. And well, we're starting to hit more of the tough stuff here and there. Let's see if we're a good matchup for the Valkyries somehow, some way. That could be a key to the victory tonight, is that somehow, some way, the makeup of our team and what we do actually kind of goes okay against the Valkyries. I would hope that happens, but who knows? There's no guarantees. I don't know yet. I want to see how the styles play against each other. In fact, I really haven't watched Golden State. So in some ways, I can't really tell you other than they're a talented team that's been winning and taking care of winning against bad teams and not fumbling. And then the very best teams are beating them. So 5-game win streak says a lot right there. The fact that they've won 5 in a row. So yeah, we're on a losing streak and we need to end that. That's important to do right now. So let's beat the Valkyries tonight. And I say we lean into our strengths. As Tamika Nurse said the other day before the Wings game, just shoot, shoot, and shoot, and shoot some more. She's right. In some ways, she says that for her sister because in some ways that's her style, right? So yeah, it's true. We need to shoot a lot and not be afraid and shoot, 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 shoot. Obviously, if we could do a better job on the boards and boxing out people, that is a strong lesson to learn from the Wings loss on Sunday. So just keep on working on improving every single day, tempo players. And we'll get results over time as you work on your faults and we enhance our strengths. One big, huge thing is obviously a priority should be to get Mabrey going. She's probably feeling pretty good getting her first ever All-Star yesterday. And let's feed into that energy, that confidence, and that ability. It's tough because, like I said, with the last game in Dallas game, that without Kiki and Brittany, Marina is very much the main target of the other team's defense. And she's really getting keyed on and slowed down. And the other teams have some pretty good solutions for how to stymie and stop her. Well, in some ways, this is a game of adjustments. Sandy Brondello's got to get creative, and we got to figure out other ways to get Marina her points. Sometimes you can bust the game open by getting her really going, and they can't do anything to stop her. But it's the whole thing. The other teams do not want to let her get going. They don't want her to get any momentum. They don't want her to get going downhill and look for her little spots and holes in the defense where they didn't catch her and she's popping a almost half-court shot. So, man, if we can get Mabrey loose, if we can figure out ways to get her going, this is why basketball teams that have one singular star that is so dominant and so much the leader and the one that really pulls the whole train behind them. When you stop that train, the whole train stops. You stop that engine, which is what Marina Mabrey is, the engine. So all the other cars behind her don't go anywhere. I think a key thing for them is to try and get points production. We've had anemic scoring totals for our games the last couple games, and we need to try and get 90 to 100 points. And this can't be done alone by Marina. We need these other women on the team to step up and give more and do more. I think it'll be a huge plus to have Julie back. I think that in some ways the lack of Julie in the last game hurt our offense and contributed to us only scoring 76 points. So Alamon being back, happy birthday, Julie. Happy 30th. That's right, dirty 30. Let's go. Get out there and show it how important you are to this team, because we could see the without you on Sunday. Let's see the with you today, Julie Alamon. That's right. There you go. There you go. Trevor J saying this. Congratulations to Marina Mabrey for being what is that? For being coming? What does that mean, man? Congratulations to Marina Mabrey for All-Star and being the Tempo's first franchise player as an All-Star. Yeah, the first ever All-Star in franchise history for the Tempo, and we didn't have to wait long. The Raptors didn't get their first All-Star till 5 years in. Seriously. It's true. Vince was the first ever All-Star for the Toronto Raptors. It was not Antonio Davis, Akil Augustine, with your lies and your little game you played last year in the summer on the Raptors channel. No, it's not Antonio Davis, your bad information. Vince Carter was the first ever All-Star in Raptors franchise history, and that didn't happen until 99, and we started in 95. So this is a big deal. It's kind of like if Damon Stoudemire had gotten on the All-Star game right away in his first year, which Damon never was an All-Star. He never got All-Star. Of course, the leagues are different. This is a smaller league in the WNBA. There's more chance than in the big 30-team NBA, right? But yeah, this is interesting. It's interesting to get an All-Star in your first year as a franchise. It's a big deal. It's kind of advanced, honestly. It's kind of advanced. Yeah, let's see. Trevor's saying he's going to Vegas tonight. All right, take pictures. I want to see you standing next to cactuses. I want to see you standing next to a casino. Take pictures, Trevor, and show them to us in the Discord. Seriously. Take pictures at the game. Go to the ballroom. Take a picture of the ballroom if you can. I want pictures this time, Trevor. You going to Vegas? That's right. Let's see. All right, let's see. Kareem Thomas. All right, let's talk to Kareem real quick. Kareem, I love you, Brand. And I just want you to know that our lively discussion yesterday, I wasn't sure if we should talk about it or not, but if you want to bring it up, we can. Either way, there's no hard feelings here. Hey, Lex, I don't want you to think there's any ill will between us. No, definitely not, man. I think that we've had enough years of discussion, and if I came off insulting towards you, I apologize. In some ways, I was just getting not impatient, but just kind of annoyed, I guess, with like the whole idea of what you were trying to propose. And I was trying to be balanced with like kind of talking about it on the subject and stuff like that. But if I insulted you at any time, I apologize because I really do love you and respect you. Yeah. That's why I'm making this public, just a difference in opinion. I see things and I think we all see things different at times. Yeah. I won't even bring up what we saw different unless you want to, because I honestly think it's a non-story. And I don't really want to bring it into the chat because I don't feel like sometimes you propagate something just by bringing it up. But if you want to bring it up, we can talk about what our difference was yesterday. And, we can bring it to light and talk about it. It was about Kyle Lowry's press conference yesterday and how it was perceived. And Kareem had a different perception about an aspect of the conference, and I had a different perception. And it was a lively debate. And I was using a lot of like things that I kind of thought about. And it's like, man, but this doesn't make sense if you're saying this because this happened and this happened. Either way, there's definitely no ill will. I love you, man. I know that you and I sometimes we're not always going to see eye to eye, and that's happened a lot of different times. I mean, you were very much going for the Knicks and OG in the playoffs, and I was not. And I had to be okay with you doing that because you have a strong fandom for Anunoby that supersedes your hate for the Knicks. And I don't have that. I have more hate for the Knicks than my love for OG. So I'm not going to celebrate the Knicks championship. I'm sorry. I still won't. And even though OG has shown so much respect towards the Raptors in the last couple weeks, which I love, he's posted himself in a Raptors jersey a couple times on his Instagram. Just like in the last couple days, he's posted tributes to Kyle Lowry. So he is really wrapping his arms around his Raptors history and still very much cherishing it and embracing it. And that's a good sign that when all is said and done, that OG Anunoby will be a very proud member of Raptors alumni that will still come to Toronto. Very much like Charles Oakley, Jerome Williams, Muggsy Bogues, these players that played for both franchises, but have been around both teams in retirement. So that's the thing. I just don't want them to take OG completely. And I knew if they won, there's a strong chance this could happen. And I love OG. I love OG. But I knew also if the Knicks win that, in some ways he's more a Knick than a Raptor. He didn't play in our championship run, and he did in this one. And part of my concern was this motherfucker was going to go like Chris Bosh. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't call him that. I should say, yeah, I was really worried that he was going to go Chris Bosh on us. Who knows? The signs are showing that he respects and loves his Raptors history, and he's not ashamed of it. And even if it pisses off Knicks fans, which I love, he's posting himself in a Raptors jersey still on his social media. So you go, OG. Once a Raptor, always a Raptor. And you had your formative years in the NBA with us. And you may have got that second ring with the Knicks, but you're still a Raptors champion also. And that's a big thing right there, right? Right. Kareem saying congrats to Marina Mabrey. Crazy that this is her first All-Star nod. I know. You think that she's such a wild style player. I think you know what it is, Kareem? Is that in some ways Marina Mabrey's been looked at as a journeywoman in the league because she's never really stayed on a team. And on top of that, she's looked at as an acrimonious kind of semi-villain. A little bit of that kind of Ron Artest or I don't know, Draymond Green. Abrasive. A lot of people don't really like her around the league, but a lot of people respect her. And maybe some of the politics of the WNBA kept her out of getting Allstar from before, but now that she's a franchise face and she's really getting popular in certain ways because of some of the stuff she's doing in a tempo uniform, that she's more palatable as an all-star in the WNBA this year. I think that's the phenomena here because she has switched teams quite a bit and she does have a reputation. And well, it's not in the way of her getting it this time. That's right. It's not in the way. Trevor Jace brought up that the Aces have waived Kennedy Carter. In some ways, I don't care. I'm not, once again, just like with the NBA, I'm not doing all the transactions and things anymore. I can't because I cover specifically Canada related subjects. And this is, I mean, I guess this is newsworthy because of the stature of her, of the player. But I would question, like, all right, red flag. I know that Kareem was very big on the tempo getting her at the beginning of the season. And I was like, well, she has issues. We don't want to start our season with somebody who has a history and issues, with, Caitlin Clark and other things that have happened in the past. We don't want that bullseye on our team. The Aces can take that bullseye on their team easier because they're bona fide and multiple champions. But bringing her Carter to our team in the beginning of the year would have been a circus, and it might have been an unwanted distraction. And I think it's still that case. Just because she's way with Las Vegas, I was saying cue Kareem to say, hey, we need to pick her up, scoop her up, and get her here in Toronto now. And I'm like, do we really need to? First of all, do we need that position? And second of all, do we need the possible problems? I think it's a red flag that they are waiving her in the middle of the season. I know that this is part of this time of the WNBA season because we're getting close to a time where they have to finalize the rosters for the rest of the year. And there is a little bit of kind of shedding, different people from the team for whatever reason. So I would say that there's something wrong there, that the talent does not outweigh the other things. And that's the thing, because she is she is a top 50 player in this league. You don't cut a top 50 player in this league for frivolous shit. It's got to be something serious, because they want to have the best team available to try and go for another championship, right? Becky Hammond, she's a very competitive person. So there's a red flag there. There's a red flag there. Trevor's saying the Sky beat the Mercury last night. Okay. Well, that's good for Coach Marsh. And try and save his job still. Mr. Greg is here. Good morning, Mr. Greg. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, sir. I hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday morning so far. Getting ready for some more tempo action tonight. I'm so glad that we have games coming more frequently now. That 8-day layoff was weird. But yeah, these periods of time between the games, sometimes they don't make any sense to me. Like, why did we get 8 days off just now? Because of the Commissioner's Cup? Yeah, they could have shortened that. We didn't have to take all 8 days, right? We didn't have to take all 8 days. Let's see. Seymour Pape is here. He's chapping in from the Mountain Time region. It's 7:35 a.m. in Calgary, and he is here with us. And I feel very privileged and grateful that Seymour Pape is joining us at such an early time in his day. Yeah, and I appreciate him calling yesterday too. Trevor's saying the Valkyries, they're no joke. Tempo have to play very good to beat them. If they're similar to the Wings, I'm going to guess that they're a pretty good shooting team and that are playing very well together. And, they play good defense in the way that they need to. We've got to try and win the boards. We got to go to basics. We got to go to basketball basics. That's really what this is at this point with the tempo, especially with the lack of size down low in any kind of dominant way to be the big bad team in the matchup. If we had an Austin, if we had a big like a Wilson, we'd have more weight to throw around and be a little bit more loosey goosey with mistakes. But we don't. We have to play very tough, and we have to team rebound, and we have to play. Players have to not shy away from physicality. I think that was part of the problem with the Wings on Sunday, is that we weren't engaging physically with the Dallas Wings enough to stop them from getting 16 offensive rebounds. So this is important. You guys can't shy away from physicality. And I know Niara takes the brunt of it, being the center in the middle. but she's got to do it. And, Isabel's got to be tough, and everybody's got to be tough. The Europeans got to play more physical style and get in there and mix it up. Laura and Maria, y'all need to do it too. And Tima, don't waste your life. Get out there and start scoring some buckets, because I know you're a hooper. I know you can score, and we need it. We can't just go on one engine off of Marina. We need multiple help. And that means, can we get 6 or 7 tempo players in double digits tonight? Because that'll go a long way to helping us with possibly winning. That's right. Reggie's here. Good morning, Smooth Brown Man, a former Raptor Freak trivia champion. I think today the Leonard deal will be official. Yeah, they're saying, Doug Smith was saying this on Blue Skies a couple days ago, that the Leonard trade may take a couple days because the NBA has a backlog of trades they're processing from Monday. It's similar to what happened with Marina Mabrey and some of the stuff as far as this contract that she signed. So she became the first ever $1 million player in the WNBA. She does have that moniker because the paperwork went through a certain way, so she was first. Well, there's a queue and there's an order to how the NBA processes trades, and we're in the queue with Kawhi. They've figured out the finer details with his new representation, and Pablo Torre has a theory on this. He came out with a new video yesterday talking about how Uncle Dennis and Mitch are not involved in negotiating for Kawhi, and why? Because he's got the receipts. He's got the texts of Mitch and Uncle Dennis asking for the aspiration money. He's literally got the proof. So this is really good that they're not involved anymore. Dennis is not involved in negotiating for Kawhi's stuff anymore. In fact, this is such a tough lesson. Who knows if there'll ever be public ramifications for the aspiration scandal. Adam Silver dealing with it behind closed doors and within the NBA, and not the legal system of the United States. So we'll see. Pablo Torre is still waiting. He is still not declared the aspiration scandal over, and he's wondering when they're going to come out with the judgment and figure this out. Either way, the new representation group for Kawhi is working out the deal with Bobby Webster the last few days. We've seen that Kawhi was at the press conference yesterday, so it probably is true that the deal will be imminent. Maybe we will get a press conference from Kawhi where he laughs and says he's a fun guy again in the next day or so. Could very well be. So, yeah, they're working on it, and it's in the queue with the NBA. That's right. Fiercey's here. Good morning, MJ, our 2026 Raptor Freak Trivia Champion. She got added to the trophy yesterday. It's official. We had our ceremony, and we put her nameplate on there as an official trivia champion for this year. That's right. Good morning, fam, and happy game day. Valkyries are top defenders. We need to unlock our offense big time. So they are a very good defensive team. See, in some ways, I should get the scout of the day, not the scout of the day, but the keys to the victory from MJ, because in some ways she has been teaching me a lot about WNBA stuff. She was last night when we were talking about the All-Star team and like my perception of who I thought should and shouldn't be on it. I thought it was a stretch to put Kelsey Plum on there, but then I was thinking about it. Kelsey Plum has a history of being on the All-Star team. It's kind of like James Harden getting the All-Star over Norman Powell, because he's got a history of getting All-Stars. And it's kind of like you honor that legacy of work for over the career. And that's what this is with Plum. Is honestly, the Sparks aren't that good, and she's hurt. But I guess in honor of her and to have it on her resume, she gets an extra. She's on the All-Star team, and she may not play. She may be an injury replacement coming for her. So, yeah, that was one that I thought was dubious, although she is fantastic when she's healthy, and she was playing really well earlier in the season. But if Sykes isn't on the All-Star team, why the hell is Kelsey Plum, is what I would say. That's what I would say. Another one that I thought was a little suspicious on the WNBA All-Star team is Dominic Malonga. I understand she's a second-year player, and, we played the Storm a few times already this year. I know one of the games she was out and she had concussion protocol and she wasn't totally up to her speed, but I was not that impressed with her to the point where I would say she needs to be on the All-Star team. In some ways, it seems like it's a little early. I can get Olivia Miles being an All-Star as a rookie right away. She is a phenom and she's doing that. And I wondered if Kiki Rice could have been on the All-Star game if she had not gotten hurt and played at the level she had already been playing for the games she had been playing. And Fiercey's like, yeah, she had a good shot. She had a good shot. But once again, with our record and where we are in the standings, how likely was it that Toronto would get more than one All-Star? Not very likely. And Marina was definitely the one. Yeah, there's a few selections. Like another one is Kiki Arifin. I get it. She's a higher scorer in some ways, but to me, Austin's more of a star. Austin on the Mystics. Citron, I get it. You know, I don't know. These are little nitpicky things, and maybe this is me looking at it from my perspective of watching the WNBA so far this year and what I've seen. Don't get me wrong, Kiki's amazing. Kiki Arifin, amazing rebounder, but to me, it seems like Shakira Austin is more Shakira Austin is more an all-star to me just because she has a star factor to her. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But yeah, I was looking at those all-star teams. It's mostly really good. It's mostly really good. Of course, 3 dream players in the reserves, but not in any in the starters. Yeah. And you could even make a good case for Jordan Canada, who didn't make it either. Yeah. Who are the snubs? Kalia Copper? Yeah, no Phoenix Mercury on the team. Kalia Copper is probably a snub for sure. For sure. Let's see. Fiercey saying this. So happy Marina got recognized. She's been in the league for quite some time and totally deserves her all-star nod. Yeah, that's the thing. You're going to give all-stars to rookies. Do they not have a rookie game at all-star for WNBA? I guess they don't have enough good rookies to have a game together or something. I don't know. I would have a first and second year game like they do in the NBA. That might be a fun game, and then you can get more recognition for young rising stars. Rising stars game in the WNBA. I mean, I guess the pool from so few teams is like, well, no, we only want to get stars for just the All-Star. Maybe with expansion over the years, add more teams to the WNBA, there will be more for rising stars or something. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. Mr. Greg saying good morning, Fiercey. And Smooth saying this on a side note, Lex, Egypt got robbed yesterday. Talking about World Cup. Yeah, I don't have any idea with the drama with World Cup or anything like that. So I can't opine on this. I have no knowledge of the powers of teams or anything or even the situation. I don't have no idea what happened, but I'll just go for the record here and say that Reggie's saying that Egypt got robbed, and that'll be put on the record. But I don't know. I can't espouse on this at all. And Mr. Greg's saying big time that Egypt got robbed. Yeah, Egypt. The only thing I know about this is that the coach of Egypt has been very much politicking for Palestine, bringing the Palestinian flag and talking about the slaughter of Palestinians in Gaza by the genocidal IDF and Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah, in some ways, I don't know. Do you think that maybe they got screwed over because of powers that are against them being so outspoken in support of people that are getting slaughtered? I don't know. Either way, that's the only aspect I'll add to this, because I do know that the Egyptian coach was very much using the platform of World Cup to speak for the Palestinians. Yeah, that's awful. Genocide is awful. And everybody involved in the genocide in Gaza and in the Middle East and that force, you're going to burn in hell. Very much so. All y'all need to burn in hell. Genocidal, pillaging motherfuckers. That's what I'll say. Reggie saying this, the refs made sure Argentina won that game. Okay. All right. I never saw such blatant BS in my life. Well, I'm glad I'm not really into soccer. I'd be pissed off if I watched 90 minutes of a bunch of men running around, not scoring any goals, just running back and forth in circles. And then at the end, the team that, got screwed over, the team got screwed over, and it was just a sham altogether. Yeah, I'd feel like I wasted my time. This is why I'm not a soccer fan. I don't watch it. Because first of all, I like a lot of scoring. I'm unlike my Uncle Wayne. We're sitting at dinner one night. He's like, Lex, I can't get behind basketball. There's just too many goals. I can't keep up. Well, I'm the opposite, Uncle Wayne. I'm bored with hockey and soccer because there's too few goals. And I'm not trying to sit here for 90 minutes and watch a game that ends in a 0-0 tie with stoppage time. It just seems like I'm just wasting my life. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get lots of goals and watch a lot of basketball, and you go ahead and watch your hockey and you get a few goals here and there in your soccer. Yeah, that's my stance on this. I have no credibility in the world of soccer. I have no idea. I don't watch it. I know some of the big names like Beckham and Messi and Ronaldo and all that kind of shit, Mbappe, but I don't really know anything about soccer. So I can't really opine on what happened there. And I have not watched a single second of World Cup soccer in this World Cup tournament. In some ways, I'm boycotting it because of the States. In some ways, yeah, I'm glad that this stuff in here in Canada has done well and that Team Canada did well. But really, this is not an area of expertise for me in the least at all, really. I've never ever been a soccer fan. I'm not ever been a soccer fan. I played soccer when I was a little kid. They called me the screamer because I screamed as I ran up and down around, scaring the other kids to keep the ball with me. I'd scream at them. Yeah, it's a little bit crazy. It was a little bit Dylan Brooks. Yeah, it was a little bit Dylan Brooks. The screamer. That really was my soccer nickname. The screamer. Oh, here comes the screamer. Oh Lord, yeah, little 8-year-old Lex running around screaming at other little kids, right? Yeah, that's what it was right there. Let's see. Mr. Greg saying they didn't want to lose Ronaldo and Messi in consecutive games. Interesting. So you guys are detecting storyline writing by FIFA, just like Adam Silver might storyline write. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So we're saying Argentina scored 3 goals in 12 minutes, going from 2-0 to winning 3-2. I don't know anything about it. I can't really put an opinion on it because I didn't see it. Fiercely saying Jimmy Butler also posted a nice tribute to Kyle. He did. He put that Jordan head over his head. It was funny. He put that Jordan head over his head in one of the posts. Jimmy has such a funny sense of humor. And, it's always Kyle and DeMar. As Kyle said, DeMar's his best friend. But Jimmy Butler is up there as far as one of Kyle's best friends, for sure. And the friendship between Jimmy and Kyle is awesome. It's awesome. It's fun to see. Yeah, he's getting so much love and absolutely deserves it. Of course, he's an icon. And the love is outpouring from peers, from former coworkers, and from the fans and everybody around him. I mean, you can see, let's talk about this real quick. You can see, Larry Tannenbaum has been special to many, many Raptors who've come through the doors and played for our team. He's been very special. We heard the story about JYD saying that he got traded to the Bulls from the Raptors, but his daughter was still going to school in Toronto. So his daughter literally lived with the Tannenbaums, Larry and Judy, while JYD was in Chicago. They literally let Jerome's daughter live with them. We know about the story about him giving the plane to Vince to go back for graduation. We know all the amazing things that owner Larry Tannenbaum, who sadly is not a percent owner of the Raptors anymore as of Monday, has gone bend it over backwards for players. But the bond between Lowry and Tannenbaum is different than the other ones. It's on an even deeper level because in some ways, I believe Larry Tannenbaum sees Kyle Lowry as the epitome of what he loves and respects in a basketball player. The hard work, the sacrifice, all the bruises and scars from taking those charges that Terrence Ross talked about in his little blurb about Kyle. He's like, I've heard him talk about this on Twitch, actually live. Terrence talking about Kyle. He's like, yo, fam, listen, I was in the locker room with Kyle one day and he's all beat up. And I was like, what the hell happened to you, Kyle? What happened to you, man? And Kyle goes to me, he says, that's just from taking the charges, guy. That's just from me taking the charges over and over again. Larry Tannenbaum did a special thing with Kyle Lowry. He got him on the entry floor with this. That's the big thing. The big announcement that him and his wife are part owners of the Tempo. That's been true since the beginning of the Tempo. Because look, Larry Tannenbaum's a businessman. He's made a lot of money in the city of Toronto with his construction company and his concrete company. I mean, I call him Jefferson Starship because he built this city, y'all. He built this city. He built this city on concrete. And he knows how to make money, right? Well, the Tempo are going to be a rocket to make a shit ton of money because they're already working in that direction. Teresa Resch is going to be heading a very, very lucrative sports team as time goes on more and more. We've seen it with the Raptors and the growth and the valuation of the Toronto Raptors over time. You think about it when the Tempo win a championship. What's that going to do? Just like what it did for the Raptors. Well, Kyle Lowry, I love you. You're my favorite player that ever played for us. I want you to come and invest with me and Judy in this team that we've got, and it'll make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. That's what this is. In some ways, this is a gift to Lowry. Tannenbaum saying, get on board with me now, and let's get in this group as ownership group. You're an owner. You're going from player to owner, and you're going to own a part of the WNBA Toronto Tempo. It's a huge investment. It's a definite slam dunk, literally and figuratively, that they're going to make a lot of money off the Tempo over time. And it's going to be money that's going to support the Lowry family for generations to come. So, the bond between Larry Tannenbaum and Kyle Lowry is real. In some ways, Larry Tannenbaum is the father that Kyle Lowry never had. Seriously. And that's powerful. That's powerful stuff. That's a good dad to have, Lowry. I'll say that right now. That's a good dad to have. Yeah. Mr. Greg saying this, we have to spread the bait. Well, we have to spread the ball. Sorry. We have to spread the ball around tonight so the Valkyries can't just key on Mabrey. Yeah, but who's going to be the viable threat that is going to demand that attention? That's the problem, is that nobody is making other teams worried enough that they're going to get a little bit of attention off of Marina. That's why we need Condé to wake up. That's why we need Julie to be a little bit more aggressive and not be so Steve Nash. She's very Steve Nash, and I appreciate that. But Julie, it's the same thing like Rowan Barrett Sr. said to Steve Nash back in the day on Team Canada. Steve, we need you to shoot more. You're passing to everybody, but we need you to shoot too. Well, Julie really needs to shoot right now. Really does. On her birthday, there was a message to her from her Belgian teammate, Emma Mieseman, saying, happy birthday, I miss you. I almost want to write in the comments, well, come to the Tempo and play for us. We need a center. I mean, seriously, what's going on with that? Like Teresa, Monica, why the hell have we not talked to Emma Mieseman, who is not in the WNBA right now, is a free agent? Why can't we just call her and say, hey, you want to be on the Tempo real quick? Is there no money? Is it something that she's just like, I'm not playing this year because I'm taking time off and I want to be with my family. I play so much. I mean, we do have one of her best friends on our team, her point guard, Julie Alamont. So why couldn't we have a birthday present yesterday? Monica Wright Rogers. Hey, Julie, happy 30th. Emma's on our team now. Yay! Yay! Why can't we do this? Why can't we do this, Tempo? Happy birthday, Julie. Look who's here. That would be a great surprise birthday gift for Julie Alamont today. It'd be a surprise birthday gift for all of us Tempo heads that would love the Tempo. We want to see a center. We want to see a little bit more big depth. And I want to see this. I mean, but yeah, who's going to step up and be the more viable threat, Greg, as far as like taking the heat off of Marina? Who's the one that will get that respect? Isabel? Isabel may be the closest because she's got the experience and she's got a bit of an offensive bag. But that's the tough thing right now. It's kind of really like one of those classic NBA teams where you have a franchise player who's above and beyond everybody else on the team, and everybody else is just not catching up. And they're not, and they can really key on that one good player. That's why in the NBA and the WNBA now, you have to have a lot of good players. You have to have like a starting five of good players, like a lot of these WNBA teams we've been seeing lately, like the Dream, a very good all-round starting lineup. I have a feeling we'll have to see how the Valkyries is tonight. Yeah, I totally agree with this. I wish we had somebody to take the heat off of them. Yeah. Yeah. Reggie's saying, who the fuck does that in soccer? Yeah, I have no idea, man. I have no idea. All right, it looks like we might have a Valkyrie fan here right now. Pharaoh X 115. Thank you for the subscription and welcome. The Tempo, no match for the Valkyries. Well, we don't know yet. We've never played the Valkyries ever. There's no history for this. And in some ways, I'm hoping we could be pleasantly surprised that we actually match up well with them. But I'm going to probably say you're probably right. We're probably not going to be a match. Listen, I have nothing to butt up and throw weight around as a Tempo fan because we're an expansion team and we're not expected to do nothing. So I'm not going to come at you in any kind of braggadocio way and any kind of way of bowing up and saying, yeah, you're going down. Because I don't know. This is a discovery season for us. We're a brand new team, and we got to play each of the teams and see how we line up with them. And well, you're probably right. We're probably going to get our butts kicked. But, it's basketball and anything is possible. And maybe we will beat you just because you came in here to rub it in. Either way, thank you for the subscription and welcome, Pharaoh X. Welcome to the Tempo Freak stream. That's right. Smooth saying Egypt has filed an official protest. Okay, too many soccer comments. And we're not going to do this, Reggie. I know this is paramount in your mind right now because you got a gripe with it and it's pissing you off. But once again, remember, we cover basketball here. And I have no knowledge on this. That's right. Yeah. Mr. Gregg saying they're a very good team, and they were the only expansion team to have a winning record in league history. Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't have had that winning record if the schedule had gone according to plan and we had came in with them last year. That's the thing. They got all these benefits because of Ed Rogers III. Ed Rogers III fucked it all up, the schedule, because he denied MLSE ownership of the WNBA team and said, no, we don't want it in ours. And so everything got delayed a year. We were originally supposed to come in with Golden State. We were originally supposed to be picking in their expansion draft with them. They got all this luxury of picking by themselves. We had to pick with Portland this year. So, yeah, they were propped up and giving it easy. And once again, I'm going to say this. The Golden State Warriors are a golden boy team in the NBA that gets favor from Adam Silver in the head office. So I'm sure it's the same way with Kathy Engelbert in the WNBA office for the Valkyries. There's haves and have-nots in the NBA and the WNBA. And some teams will get red carpets and golden boy treatment, and some teams will get the shaft. And, well, I'm going to just say the Valkyries are a team that Kathy Engelbert has a vested interest in being successful. So the league will give them all kinds of help, I'm sure, to be propped up like this. And the biggest help they had was the delay of the tempo by Ed Rogers III, that we came in a year late, and we should have came in with them. And that would have changed their expansion draft completely. And this is probably not happening, where they are the only expansion team to have a winning record in league history. I mean, I could speculate that because that is all how it was supposed to happen. It's just Ed Rogers screwed it up by delaying our team by 1 year. And then Larry Tannenbaum and Kilmer Group saved the day. And we got our WNBA franchise still. Yeah, that's it right there. Seymour saying Quentin Post signs a $30 million 3-year deal with the Memphis Grizzlies, leaving the Bay. Also, D'Angelo Russell signs with Memphis. We talked about Quentin Post somewhere. I don't know if it was here. It may have been in the Discord. I don't really care. It's not really a needle pusher. There's so many little minute deals going on right now. Karis LeVert got traded yesterday for like the 5th time or 6th time in his career. That's a red flag right there. Karis LeVert. Detroit's changing their team drastically right now. And somebody's I don't really care about this news, Seymour, all due respect. Pharaoh's saying Valkyries have beat good teams such as the Wings and Liberty. Yeah, but you haven't beat the Aces. Aces have kicked y'all's ass 3 times this year. So, yeah, you ain't beat Becky Hammond. That may be one of the best teams. And, well, you got to beat them to probably win the championship. That's right. And you haven't beat the Lynx either, I don't think. So, yeah, that's what my point was earlier, is that y'all are on a 5-game win streak. And but you haven't been able to beat Las Vegas this year, and the Lynx have your number also. Yeah, you got some wins, sure, but you haven't beat the very best, have you? No, you haven't. You haven't beat the Lynx or the Aces. Those are the teams right there. Yeah, Smooth saying this. I know Argentina's history. That's why I don't support them. Okay, all right. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you just swept the dream. Yeah, that's impressive, and that's part of the 5-game win streak y'all are in. That's weird that y'all played Atlanta in such a condensed little area of the schedule where you played all 3 games like all real near each other. I guess that's just how it works out sometimes. Maybe it's partly because y'all came from the West Coast to the East and you get a couple games in Atlanta right around then. That makes sense. That makes sense. Reggie's saying, I don't like Messi. Yeah, okay. You can't have Messi. Everybody wants Messi. We all want Messi, but you don't. That's great. I love that. That's different. Mr. Gregg saying he's not a fan either of Lionel Messi. Pharaoh's saying Valkyries have shut down your superstars. You've never played us, man. Like, how can you say this? You've never played the tempo. You've never shut down our superstars. Come on now. You've never played us. This is lies. Straight lies, Pharaoh X. You've never played us. So how the hell have you shut down our superstars? We shut down our superstars because they're injured. You go ahead. You can beat up on us. We have one of our stars and two of our best players are off and out. And we got our number one star, and we got our next two stars are sitting out because they're injured. So I mean, once again, we like to get the facts straight, and you've never played us, so you're lying. All right, Shaq Lindsay saying, "I love Kyle's demeanor. I thought we would be missing this, but I'm happy Shed has filled in this role." I know you're big on saying that Shed is Kyle, but nobody is Kyle. I'm sorry. Shed has Lowry tendencies and Lowry like kind of stuff to him, but he is not Kyle Lowry. No, he's not. There's definitely traits that they share, though. Definitely traits, but you can't just annoy because Kyle retired yesterday. The new Kyle Lowry is Jamal Shed. That's not how it works. First of all, Jamal's second round. Kyle is late first round. And there's a lot of different stuff. Now, we speculated, I don't know, Jamal Shed has a career path like Kyle where he can be an all-star later in his career. Could very well be he's going to be a backup point guard his whole entire career, too. We have to see Shaq Lindsay. We have to see how he develops. He still has a lot of hard work for him to be anywhere near the level of Kyle Lowry. And offensively is where the hard work is. Maybe some of the defensive stuff's already there, the charge taking and leadership and dog kind of stuff. But he is not anywhere near the offensive player that Kyle Lowry was. So it's gonna take a bit. And there's no guarantees they ever get there. That's the other part of it we gotta say. Yeah, with all due respect. Fiercely saying tough assignment tonight. Not only we need to lock offensive menaces, Gabby Williams, Thornton, and Burton. We also have to look out for second unit Chen and Hayes at Saloon, who drains 2 to 3 3-pointers per game. All right, so they got a good team and they got balance. See, that's what we need. We got to start stacking better players on our team through the draft over the years and through free agency and maybe some, trades. And then we can get the quality of the Tempo team to be higher. In some ways, we are starting to look like an expansion team with the level of talent throughout our whole roster. It's tough. You get a lot of your players from expansion draft, and you're not going to have the creme de la creme best players like you could get from the draft, like Kiki Rice, like Olivia Miles. So it's going to take time, and we are starting to look like an expansion team right now. We really are. If we had Kiki and Brittany out there, maybe we could still run and really, really be competitive with the top teams in the league. But right now, we're at a detriment, and it's not easy for the Tempo to compete right now. So, I'm not going to any trash talk that a WNBA fan from another team that we're playing is coming in here. Okay, go ahead, say what you have to say. I'm not going to bow up to you and meet you with that energy because I have no room to talk yet. But you give me some time. You give me some years, and I'll be talking shit for the Tempo at some point. But it's too early. I can't do it yet. These are checks that I can't cash. I'm not going to write them. So we're not doing it right now. No, we can't do it yet. Not yet. That's right. Seymour saying, go Tempo. Do it for the city. That's right. Do it for the country. Do it for our guys out west, too. Not just for the people in the GTA. That's right. Do it for the city. Do it for the country. That's right. I met Antonio Davis. He's cool. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. You met Antonio Davis? Well, he's more in favor now and more embracing his Raptors roots now. The Raptors winning championship is more prestige and being Raptors alumni, Raptors All-Star. Antonio Davis is cooler with his Raptors side of things, and he was very proud of our team winning. And he's taken back the things he said about the metric system. I don't know why we get so, protective about the metric system. I mean, USA, you are the weird country that is the only one that doesn't use the metric system. Oh, how roguish, how arrogant. Seriously, get with the rest of the world. We're all using the metric system. Come on now. Yeah, you want to hear the two sides between Kareem and I? I mean, I'll talk about it. It's okay. We can talk about it. He has the popcorn out. He's got emoticons. He wants to hear this. All right, this is what happened. And this is all due respect to Kareem. I thought that Kareem was promoting a narrative that maybe he got from NBA Chev yesterday in our Discord after the ceremony with Kyle Lowry. Kyle, this is what Kareem was saying. He thinks that it's tacky that Vince Carter interrupted Kyle Lowry's press conference yesterday and that he was being arrogant and egotistical and making it about himself, and that he was ruining Kyle Lowry's moment by calling and FaceTiming him in the middle of it. He said that that was very Vince. You know how I feel about Vince Carter. I don't like Vince Carter. Every chance I can get to rip him, I will. But this is not one of them. I can't do this. In some ways, I don't like this whole narrative because you're trying to take away from the spectacle and the awesome thing that happened yesterday by tainting it with some sort of negative connotation or perception that Vince Carter was a jerk and he ruined Kyle Lowry's retirement press conference. But that's not true because that's not what happened. He didn't ruin it. If anything, I would argue he added to it. We have to understand, we're old heads, a lot of us that watch this show. We're older generation and older fans of basketball. We got to understand there's a new era with the youngsters with FaceTime and communication and TikTok and Snapchat and all this bullshit where something like this happening, especially with attention deficit disorder problems, a detour in the middle of a press conference for retirement where a Hall of Famer, icon of our franchise is calling to congratulate the guy and call him a GOAT. It's not a detraction. It's an addition. You got to think that the Raptors organization set this up. This isn't Vince calling him out of the blue by accident and fucking up. No. Jennifer Quinn or Shelby or somebody said, you know what? It'd be really cool if Vince called in during Kyle's retirement. And, you know, he had a bit of part in it. That's what this is. The Raptors organization set this up. And Kareem was trying to go with the storyline saying that Vince was just a jerk and he just jumped in and made it about himself. That's not what I saw. I saw Vince Carter being very, very respectful and giving his due and honor to Kyle Lowry on his big day. And, you know, there's footage of Vince and Kyle arguing between each other about who is actually the greatest Raptor of all time. Kyle Lowry has said that he thinks Vince is the greatest Raptor of all time. Of course, Kyle Lowry is humble and he doesn't want to come off as arrogant. But Vince will turn around and say, no, Kyle, you are the greatest Raptor of all time. The fans have told me that it's you, and I'm sorry, it's you. And it's true. It is Kyle. And in some ways, that call was Vince Carter reinforcing that you are the GOAT. You're the greatest of all time. And that's what he said on it. So the narratives that may be coming from that Vince is so egotistical, he's ruining Kyle's retirement press conference, just stop. Try not to taint such a beautiful moment. See, Grange was banned. He wasn't even allowed in the building. That's perfect. No, they wanted to make this go without a hitch. Do you think that the Raptors organization would let something awful like that happen in the middle of Kyle Lowry's retirement press conference? No, this was all planned. And it was a part of the whole thing. And in some ways, it was to add to the honoring, whether it's the locker room display that they showed on Instagram later, where they had each year that he played for the Raptors and memorabilia from that time, whether it's the big, huge contract that he signed and the pictures he took, whether it's Kawhi sitting in the audience. This is all set up by the Raptors, including the call from Vince Carter. It just doesn't make any sense. In some ways, you got to use critical thinking here. This is the kind of nephew thinking that makes things kind of seem like, oh, you're getting outraged about nothing. And this is nothing. This is a nothing burger. And that's all I was trying to do yesterday, Seymour, was put out a fire before a narrative gets run all over the place and people are saying, oh my gosh, Vince ruined Kyle's press conference. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. And in some ways, I would say, look at how the Raptors used Vince in the past to call Scotty when he won Rookie of the Year. Vince is a very good orator. He's a very good speaker. He's a very good analyst and a good basketball commentator. He's very good at speaking in ways to communicate things. And that's why they get him to do stuff like this, because he can get on the phone and he won't be like an idiot and be talking all crazy and not being clear about things. No, he's a polished media professional who can call and make it a very official sounding call with the way he's talking, you know? So that's kind of what I would say about this. And also in some ways, Vince kind of like being, and they showed him to the press and he's like, oh crap. You know, he's very humble. I didn't see the arrogance there with Vince. You know, these are two icons of our franchise. And in some ways, it's an icon showing respect to one icon on his retirement day. That's what I saw. Some people want to make a mountain out of a molehill. And I'm like, nah, don't even start this kind of narrative. I could see Chev making a clip on this and burning Vince Carter and messing with him just because of that. Listen, I can deride and get mad and critique Vince Carter in all kinds of ways, but this is not one where I'll get on board with it. I'm sorry. I just won't with this narrative. So that's what it was right there, Seymour. Was that. Yeah. Yeah, we love OG. Yeah, we do, but we don't love the Knicks. That's the truth. We don't love the Knicks. And even like Kyle, the way he talked about OG's championship is like, yeah, I hate them. There's a little bit of an underlying thing with some of the former teammates of OG and celebrating him, but also kind of like not celebrating him because they don't want to celebrate the team. Now, Kyle kind of celebrates the Knicks championship partly also because of the Villanova crew, because he's Villanova. But, it's still a bitter rivalry. The Knicks put the Sixers out of the playoffs and literally ended Kyle's career this year, right? So it's a tough thing. In some ways, it's like does not compute. We hate the Knicks, but it is OG. I love him. Yeah, I can't get into this. I hate the Knicks more than I love OG. I'm sorry. I don't love you enough, OG. All right, let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying this. Selecting Alan Graves was a genius move. Watching him maneuver on the court is quite similar to Scotty. Allen will free up Scotty in some play actions with Alan Graves. Scotty no longer has to primary facilitator on offense. This is the thing, like the aspect of Alan Graves training himself as a youngster, as a point guard is so good. I mean, I think every player that plays basketball should learn point guard skills first. And if you get that growth spurt later, well, you become a big with point guard skills embedded in you from when you're younger. And that's Alan Graves. Alan Graves sprouted up to a forward size, but he was playing as a guard most of his life. So he really does have some passing chops and he does look for his teammates. He's definitely that word, unselfish. So it'll be an interesting aspect. I think that Allen in general is not as powerful as Colin as what he does. He's not as powerful as Scotty as what he does, but he's somewhere in the middle range of power and those same kind of skills and those things that they do. Alan Graves is a fantastic shot blocker. He's a great on the ball stealer. He's a great shit disturber. And the defensive stuff's going to show. But on the other side, we're going to see bonuses with the passing, as Shaq Lindsay just mentioned, but also with the three-point shooting. He's got a very sound technical three-point shot. In fact, I've said this when we drafted him. Out of the three guys, Graves, Boyles, and Barnes, Alan Graves has the best technical three-point shot formation out of the three of them, and he has the easiest shot to start being the most consistent three-point shooter between the three of them. So that's something we're going to see also, because that is something Bobby said to him. It's like, this is your checklist of things we need you to do: rebound, get after loose balls, play good defense, and hit your open shots. And that's the thing that's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see him play, and we will see him play in 2 days on Friday when Summer League starts, and we get to see the first Summer League game for the Raptors on Friday. Yeah, we're going to get to see Alan Graves. Yeah. Kareem saying, Seymour, how is the Stampede? My boy went up there. I told him to go streaking, but he didn't want any part of that. Why do you tell people to do this? He's been telling me for years to go to the Raptors game and take off all my clothes and run around on the court. I like going to Raptors games. I don't want a lifetime ban. So it's bad. It's bad suggestions. Why are you telling your friend to go streak at the Calgary Stampede? That sounds crazy. It sounds dangerous. Honestly, you might get stampeded naked. And nobody wants to see a naked body all stampeded on the side of the road. No. That's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Seymour saying this, laugh out loud. Yo, it's wild. A lot of slackness going on this channel is Paul George. So I can't go into detail, but let's just say when you're not from here, they love you, but like cooked food, and I'm loving it. Okay, this is interesting. I'm not totally sure what you said. There's a lot of slackness going on this channel. Oh, interesting. I don't know what that means. PG-13 can't go into it. Oh yeah. Okay, so he can't talk about the Stampede because it's R-rated. It's R-rated or X-rated, even triple X-rated. He can't talk about his experience with Stampede. Life is good. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. Life is good. Shaq Lindsay saying not only that, but you don't have to give Allen a lot of minutes to get production from him. His production is felt immediately and very impactful, which only adds and doesn't subtract. So I've given some thought, and I am in agreement with you on the DeMar fit for this team. Bobby and this front office is very cautious and selective in the players they put on this roster. They want players that will add, not subtract. This is why they selected Allen. Man, I don't want to talk about DeMar anymore. Let's just let him go somewhere. Because some of the stuff I say, I don't want it to sound detracting. It's just that DeMar is DeMar. We love DeMar, and DeMar has his life. And in some ways, I don't even think that he really wants to come back to Toronto. I think that everybody's making this shit up from their own heads because they're fans. I think in some ways, DeMar's been on the record as saying, I don't want to play for Toronto unless Kyle's there. Well, Kyle retired yesterday, y'all. So it's like, how does DeMar play for us if Kyle's retired? Nah, we need to let this go. Everybody who's on this DeMar to the Raptors thing, just with all due respect, and just respect the fans that are tender and feel a lot of emotions about DeMar DeRozan and Raptors. Let's stop using this as some sort of debate topic. Seriously. Let's give the guy the respect that he deserves and allow him to sort out his offseason, figure out his landing spot, and then let's react to it. I think that one of the biggest toxic things in sports today is speculation and rumors and making up shit and just going with it and running with it and people getting all crazy and going way too far with it. And this is a case of it. I want to respect number 10 for the Toronto Raptors that's going up in the rafters, whether you like it or not, Drake. And I feel like in some ways y'all are putting me in a bad position where I may have to be disrespectful towards him, and it's not necessary. We don't even need to bring this up. Let's wait for DeMar to land where he's going to land, and then we'll talk about the fit. We'll talk about where it is. If he lands on Toronto, we'll talk about it then. But if he's going to more likely land on another team, we can talk about the fit and how things are going for him at this point. But yeah, we are building a young core. We've already added a 35-year-old player who used to play for us 7 years ago. In some ways, we're not trying to get too many people that are outside the general core of our team. Maybe a few veterans like Kyle Anderson and Jakob Poeltl, and that's it. But the most of the team is right around 25 and below. And in some ways, part of what you got to figure in is, well, the premium of Leonard and what he does as a closer, as a dominant player, one of the most dominant players in the history of the NBA, a guy who can actually look like Michael Jordan on the court, which there's very, very few players in the history of the NBA could ever look like Michael Jordan on the court. He's an exception. But for the most part, the age group for our team is younger and in development, and we can't stymie or stunt their growth. And Kawhi already is going to be a very powerful premium player for us that's going to do great things. We're going to win a lot because of him. In some ways, we don't want to take away. And that's what Shaq Lindsay's saying. That's what he's saying right here. Alan Graves has a promising future, and we want to develop him with a runway without, people in the way, just because they got to get their minutes and their shots and their points. And as I said, being on the record, DeMar DeRozan has bigger things to accomplish individually right now than team-wise. He really does. And I'd be so much prouder to have a former Raptor, a Raptor Hall of Famer, a Raptor with a retired jersey, number 10, in the top 10 of NBA all-time scorers, up there with names like Karl Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and LeBron James on a short list of 10, than, having him just come back for a warm, fuzzy, welcome home kind of feeling, just and it's all ceremonial. And in some ways, we can't really give him the minutes and the shots that can provide him to get to that top 10, because he's top 20 right now. With 3,000 points, he can be top 10. And that means 2 seasons of at least 1,500 points. And the Raptors can't give him that. That right there, to me, is the biggest reason why he shouldn't come here. Not about fit, not about taking away from the kids. It's about, I'm worried about DeMar and what he could do individually with his career and where he ends on the all-time list. That's what I'm worried about. I think that should be priority, honestly. And that's selfish, sure. But in some ways, his career is that kind of career. In some ways, his career is not totally the destiny of getting championships. His career is more like a hardworking scorer for a longevity that really put a lot of points in the baskets for a long, long time consistently over a long period. And that is a huge accomplishment in itself with through health and production over a long, consistent time. There's a lot of guys like this. Alex English, Rolando Blackman, Damian Lillard. These are these kind of players. And in some ways, DeMar, I don't get mad at him if he's selfish and he's thinking about his individual all-time career scoring totals and where he is on the list. I think that's exactly what he should be worried about and not worried about. And I know that his priority is because he said it. He wants to be on a team where he can get in the postseason and get playoff time again. Notice he's not saying he wants to just try and ring chase. He just wants to play in meaningful games at the end of the year because he's sick of being on teams that miss the playoffs. That's what he wants. And I think that in the Venn diagram of targeting things, we could find something that overlaps with that, where he can have production and get minutes and shots so that he can still go for his individual stuff. But also, he's on a team that's good enough that's going to make the postseason. I think we could figure that out. That's right. That's right. Very, very interesting stuff. Thank you, Shaq Lindsay, for your comments on this. Kareem's saying this. I'm interested to how Egypt got robbed. There were no crazy offsides, no crazy fouls. I want to know your guys' take. I don't, because this is not a soccer channel. So you guys, Reggie, don't fucking bring up this. You're being Milbester today, except it's soccer. You're being Milbester. Reggie is doing a Milbester today. Milbester always wants me to talk about World Baseball Classic and Dominican Republic and Canada and USA and the baseball. Let's talk about baseball. Fuck that. I don't want to talk baseball. I'm talking basketball here. This is a basketball channel. And now Smooth Brown Man has Milbestered my channel into a soccer discussion. Every single soccer comment coming after this is, nix it. If you got soccer comments down here, get it out of here. I don't want it. Get it out of here. That's right. I'm skipping the request by Kareem because it's not a good request. Okay. Let's see. All right. I am on Fiercey here. I have a feeling the Tempo will need a bigger venue to play in. Yeah. Eventually. I really do see the Coca-Cola Coliseum like the Sky Dome for the Raptors. It's not the best place for them to be playing. There's some stuff that's really good about it. Like the sight lines are really good in that arena. And the way that the court sits in Coca-Cola is really nice. But it's really an old building. It doesn't have enough bathrooms. It's in a weird location that's hard to get to with not really good infrastructure for parking. It needs to be somewhere else. Well, let's get back to our friend Larry that we just talked about, who built this city. He built this city on concrete. Yeah, Larry could have a construction project. I mean, they keep talking about building the practice facility down there. But I'm like, why are you doing that? Just build them a new arena. Forget about a state-of-the-art practice facility. I get it that WNBA teams need that to be competitive in free agency, and that's a big thing with the players. It's like, well, what kind of amenities do you have as far as your facility? And, well, they have plans to build this practice facility down at CNE, but I'm almost like, are you really trying to be in Coca-Cola for that long? Is there some sort of plan to remodel Coca-Cola Coliseum and make it a little bit more updated and useful for the crowd, for the Tempo? Or is it they're not as important because it's still the Marlies arena and it's the Scepters arena? And we have to take in consideration the hockey considerations for that building along with the Tempos. It's a tough thing. In some ways, it's like, where are they going to do to figure this out? The whole mess of getting from Skydome to Air Canada Center, it was a very messy thing for the Raptors. And it was drawn out and it took too long and it was a mess. It was just a mess, trust me. As somebody who lived through that period of time with those arenas and that switch and the whole mess of the Leafs getting involved with the Raptors in the first place and being involved in their building is a mess. The Air Canada Center / Scotiabank Arena was a project for the Raptors. The Leafs were never, ever supposed to be involved. That building was not built for the Leafs. That building was built for the Raptors, but it got married to the Leafs because of financial things and things like that. And that was the solution to make it happen. The Leafs couldn't be in Maple Leaf Gardens anymore. They needed an update. So it got married together. In some ways, I hate the MLSE foundation or the MLSE organization of having the Leafs with the Raptors. I wish we could have stayed separated from them the whole time. Alas, we are in bed with the Toronto Maple Leafs. But yeah, that'd be great if the Tempo could have their own arena without the Marlies and the Scepters. I have a lot of theories about shared arenas between hockey and basketball and injuries and wet spots on the floor and stupid shit. And it seems like so far with the Tempo's arena at Coca-Cola, there's a humidity problem. There is a wetness problem on the court. And this could be bad for our team because there's more likelihood of possible injuries because of the ice under the floor. And things are not totally up to the same standard as Scotiabank Arena with the ice and the basketball and the conversions crews. And maybe in some ways there is a little bit more danger at Coca-Cola Coliseum because of the ice under the floor. Ideally, it's good to have a basketball gym with no ice under it, right? So I don't know. You guys should have your own dedicated building for just you. You want to share a building with the Scepters and have ice underneath it? I mean, whatever. But I think that, is there any building codes where you can't update the Coca-Cola Coliseum because it's under historical preservation, because it's part of the CNE, the Canadian National Exhibition Grounds? I mean, these are all questions I have about this. And these are all probably parts of the hurdles to figure out how to get a better home for the Tempo. Because honestly, if you ask me, Coca-Cola Coliseum should not be their forever home. It really shouldn't. There's a lot of flaws in it. In some ways, they're doing what they can do with what was available and what was best. I get it. Teresa's very, very, very ingenuity and very resourceful. And she does what she can. That's right. Seymour's saying this. Jimmy called Kyle Lowry, Mike Lowry in Miami, reference to Bad Boys, Will Smith from Philly, the mic head on Lowry's body. Groat. Yeah, that was funny. I like that post. Smith saying, I'll never root for Argentina ever again, man. All right. Okay. Neil's here with his owls, looking very OVO. Let's see. Stargate's here. Good morning, Stargate. Lex, give the ladies a break. Tempo do have more than one player who can score. It's just that they are injured. Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. How did you not hear me say that? I said they have three options, but two of them are off the court. I'm not slighting Kiki. I'm talking about their present state with who's available, Stargate. Without those two out, Marina's on an island, and there's very much a gulf between the production of Marina Mabrey and the whole rest of the team underneath her. Slim's right next to her if she's healthy, and Kiki's coming up close next to them too. Yeah, listen to what I said specifically. I was talking about right now because those two are out. I'm not dissing Slim and Kiki. Trust me. Yeah. Yeah, it's just that they're injured. Of course. And they're more than adequate support them from Marina. I would argue against that also. Because first of all, you're talking about three guards are our three best players. We need a big, that's good too. That's better balance. So no, that's not adequate for the Tempo and their long-term success. We've got to get a big in the draft next year or somehow, some way to be absolutely competitive in the right ways. So I'm not really disagreeing with you, and you're right with what I said. I was saying the current team with the injuries is what I'm saying, because I'm not going to talk about Sykes. I'm doing a scouting report for today, and they're not playing today, Stargate. So when I say that Marina is the only one out there, that's what I mean. Does that make sense? And also, I would argue that no, the Tempo need another player. This is not adequate. They need a big that actually is very dominant and a powerful player that has to be respected. So there's balance, because our top three best players are all guards. And in some ways, that's what you get for having a coach and a GM. They're guards. That's what you get for that. Fierce's saying Valkyries have never won against the Lynx. Not ever, like last year or this year. Where's Pharaoh? Is Pharaoh still here? Yeah. Seymour. Yeah, you guys, all the soccer comments, they got to go right now. Yeah. Yeah. No, I do mind, Reggie. You're talking about soccer too much. You're milbestering this channel right now. So as I asked and requested, every soccer related comment that's in the chat going forward, you're going to delete it. You're going to delete it. I'm not even going to read that. I don't care. And Seymour's talking about how Argentina is the Israel of South America. I was like, I don't need to get into these worms, cans of worms. In some ways, we don't need to do this. Y'all are detouring this chat in a direction that has nothing to fucking do with what I want to talk about today. So I'm ignoring these comments. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. Stargate saying this. La 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 la. Oh, geez, don't do this. I understand the connections between the Nazis and South America. This is not news to me. I don't need these explanations, guys. This is not news to me. Let's see. Stargate saying, however, I do agree Izzy needs to step up. Yeah. I mean, they all do. I'm calling out to Maria. I'm calling out to Isabel. I'm calling out to Niara. I'm calling out to Julie. I'm calling out to Tima. I'm calling out to Laura. Any of those 7. Kia Nurse is stepping up. Kia Nurse ain't supposed to be doing what she's been doing, but Kia Nurse is stepping up for her country and her team. Kia Nurse is going above and beyond, but she's the only one out of all the rest of them as far as going up and getting double digits to help with the scoring load. Because if we don't make a certain amount of points, we can't compete in the WNBA. We have to get a certain amount of point production. And there's a lot of, this is very much like an expansion team. The original Raptors were this way. You had Damon Stoudemire, you had Alvin Robertson, and then the rest of the team was Europeans and people that didn't really score. And they were kind of like not consistent. And there could be nights where they didn't do jack shit. And Damon had all the points. That's it. That's it. Oliver Miller, he helped a little bit with consistency halfway through the season, because he was a big and he could score, and that was a good balance. And we started getting some good traction when Miller showed up on the team with Damon Stoudemire. But that's it right there. That's it right there. That's it right there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and seriously, Reggie, I might time you out. Seriously, if you're not listening to me, if you're not live with me right now, you got to stop, man. Everything soccer or Nazi related, South America related, it's got to go. It's not a topic we're talking about. I'm not trying to do the history of the Nazi party and where they went after World War II. It's very well known. We all know where there was very much people that escaped and went to South America, and they've been hiding there. And some of them have been brought to justice. But see, look, you're making me talk about it. I don't want to fucking talk about it, all right? I don't want to fucking talk about it. Fiercely saying this. See, because I don't want to get political every day, guys, especially when it's not necessary. I don't give a shit about the World Cup. I don't give a shit about Egypt getting screwed over. I don't give a shit if Argentina's full of shit. It's not my fight battle. I don't give a shit about this. I have all kinds of other things I worry about, but this is not one of them. This is something that I could have not even known about, and I wouldn't even give a shit. I wouldn't have changed my life if I didn't know about what happened. You know, wouldn't have changed my life in any kind of way. Stargate saying this, Smooth, you have done your research. Yeah, in some ways it's like, this isn't necessary. I didn't want this. That's right. Thank you. Didn't know that. Seymour didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. I'm skipping all this shit. This is well-known information. Y'all can know this. If you didn't know this, well, I knew this. I've known this since I was a little kid, that a lot of the Nazis fled to South America, and they were there. Yeah, I knew this. Anyway, this is stupid. Neil's saying this. Vince supports Kyle. That showed 2 former Raptors supporting Kyle on his day. Yeah, it's supposed to add to the prestige. In some ways, it's for the kids. You know, there's a lot of comments on Reddit today from people saying that was so cool that Vince FaceTimed Kyle during his press conference. See, in some ways, we may be just old heads, KT, and thinking, oh, that's rude. Now, I would say this. Did Vince Carter call him up and FaceTime him and say, you're my son, Kyle Lowry? Kyle Lowry is my son. I want to say this right now in the middle of his retirement press conference. You're my son, Kyle Lowry. Did he do that? No, he didn't do that Justin Champagny sorry-ass shit. That's different. You're going to interrupt somebody in their moment. Jeff Doughton Jr. trying to do an interview after a game. He never gets interviews. And Justin Champagny runs up and says, Jeff is my son. That's rude. That's fucked up. Vince did not do that. Did he son Kyle Lowry in the call yesterday? No, he didn't. He didn't do that tacky ass shit that Jay Pangy used to do. That tacky ass sunning that used to go on around the Raptors at that time. Yeah. Yeah. No, you didn't do that. Stargate saying, I think it was a setup as well. Larry set that up. Larry's close to both of them. And we got to understand, as much as I don't like Vince, as much as Monique doesn't like Vince, Kyle loves Vince. They're very close. They golf all the time. They golf. That was true. He's like, I'll see you later. I'll be golfing with you tonight. Wait, but yo, bro, you're in Toronto. How are you going to do this? Trust me, Vince. I'll be there. I have to golf, bro. They're like so buddies, bonded on golfing. Think about Kyle Lowry's custom bags that he makes. Kyle Lowry has a golf bag company that makes custom golf bags for people he loves. And he has made Vince multiple bags in honor of him. He made him a crazy ass golf bag that has all these patches and decals. It's a high premium quality, and it has homages to Vince Carter's career with different kind of symbolic things like the UNC Tar Heels symbol, USA basketball, Raptors, all the teams he played for, all around in patches on. Kyle Lowry don't make a bag, a golf bag, a customizable golf bag for an enemy, for somebody he's pissed off when they FaceTime him in his retirement ceremony. If you've never seen the bags that Kyle Lowry's golf bag company makes, go look at them online. Seriously, they are amazing. He made one for Nick Nurse. He makes them for people he loves. He makes these beautiful bags that are specialized for just that one person. He's made them for all kinds of people in his life. And Vince he's made Vince a couple of them. He hasn't just made Vince one. He's made Vince a few of them. I think at least 3 bags like that. Is that somebody he's going to be mad at for calling him? I don't think so, because he gave him such an amazing bag. You know what I'm saying? Neil's saying it would have been good for DeMar to call in too, but we got the call the night before. He got the call the night before. It would have been nice to hear Fred and Pascal call in too. Well, you don't have all day, man. And this isn't a radio call-in show. This is a retirement press conference. And once again, I'll say this. Vince is an orator. Vince is a public speaker. Vince is a professional who speaks on a microphone for Peacock. And, those other guys are not the best speakers. It'd be weird, In some ways, you could have the call between DeMar, just like on How Hungry Are You? Call him, or you have to drink the cricket tea. If he doesn't answer, oh, my God, I don't want to have to drink this shit. DeMar, are you there? Hey, Kyle, what's up? Yeah, Serge, fuck you. I'm not drinking your cricket tea. No, the tributes were there online. Pascal with glowing, beautiful posts about Kyle Lowry. Fred VanVleet, tons of pictures of him with Kyle Lowry on his Instagram yesterday. Norman posting something. OG posted something. Chris Boucher posted something. These guys all did their tributes in their own way, and it's not calling in. And DeMar was busy, guys. And that's what Kyle said. DeMar is not able to be here. He's on the West Coast. And, he's scrambling to try and find a team. He just got waived. And he's trying to sort out his next year. So he's busy. But Kyle made it very clear, when my jersey gets retired, DeMar will be here. So all things in the right times, in the right ways, right? Right? Kareem's saying, I'm standing on this hill. You're going to stand on that hill about the thing that you're saying yesterday? I mean, to you got to understand also, we can get egocentric and think that our own feelings and how it feels to us is how everybody should feel. But everybody's in different places with what matters to them. And, your proclivities of morality and thinking about, well, this is just tacky and this is rude. This shouldn't happen. We're in the middle of a press conference. This guy's calling him on FaceTime. Sure, old heads may think that's very rude. It's just like how people that are older than us thought things that we did when we were younger is rude. This is much more acceptable in young culture coming up underneath us. In some ways, we're showing our age is what it is here, Kareem. Is that this is much more acceptable. The ADHD of the younger generations, the Snapchat, the FaceTime. This is just part of their world. People jump into your life all of a sudden. Yo, hey, whoa, hey, I'm eating chicken downtown at Rasta Pasta. What do you want? Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, maybe I'll come see you later. This is their life. This is the way young people communicate. And we're old fuddy-duddies at this point, Kareem. So your sensibility about whether that was rude or not is probably not rude to most of the young people. And they're probably like, that's cool more than it's rude. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying right there? That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Yeah, no problem, Seymour. No problem. Let's see. KT saying at Seymour, I know what you're saying. I once went to North Bay. I said I was a rapper from Toronto, and oh boy, what a night. I couldn't even write a nursery rhyme. All right, y'all, you do your lives and have fun, man. I ain't gonna try and hate on any of that, right? You know exactly what he's saying. All right. Kaloy saying, I find VC annoying, but I actually didn't see yesterday as a big deal. That's the thing. I mean, I feel like one of the tactics of people to make dissension or cause turmoil is to pull that string. And that's what this whole narrative is. This is a string pulling narrative. It's like, oh, let's unravel things for nice things. And that's why I have a big problem with this starting or even kind of generating this kind of idea that Vince ruined the press conference yesterday because he called in. Yeah, it's stupid. Don't pull that string. I'd rather fight and defend and say, no, Kyle had a perfect day. Grange wasn't there. His son, Cameron, was there. His wife was there. Larry was there. Nat Bhatia was there. He had, it looked like his college coach was even there, Jay Wright. You know, you can't ruin his moment by saying in your perception that you think Vince Carter was a dick for FaceTiming him in the middle of his ceremony. That's your perception. That's not Kyle's perception. And that's not a lot of other people's perceptions. And that's what we have to understand here is like, we've got to understand that just our end all be all thoughts on things is just not always the thing that's going to be the popular consensus. That's the thing. We've got to understand that people are going to perceive things differently. And I know you could write a narrative, you could make it up and say, no, Vince was wrong for this, obviously, and all this. But what's the energy in that? And why would you even put any energy into that? Like, seriously, it's a waste of time. Go do something better with your life. Go take a hobby. Go garden in the yard. Do stuff like that instead, is what I would say. Kaloy saying this. Kudos to Bobby in the front office for making Kyle's day special. They did him well. Glad to see MLSE penny pinching doesn't reach into that part of the Raptors. Well, I mean, who knows what they would have done if Larry was majority owner? It could have been even more grandiose. This is just the retirement ceremony, signing the contract, the ceremony of that, doing what he said he would do, coming through with it. There's still going to be a whole bunch of stuff for him this year as far as the jersey retirement. And I want to see what they do for him there, like they did for what they did for Vince when they did his. So let's see. They're going to get grandiose with this, hopefully. They can do a lot with this. And in some ways, it'll be economics and making money. Keith Pellion, though. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and do the Toronto Tempo Redditor of the day. It's Kerfuffles. And, well, I want to give a lot of credit and love to Chelsea Light. Chelsea, I don't know if you have an ear to us here, but if you do, I appreciate you. I see you're trying harder in the last couple of days to get the information out to everybody. You went to practice yesterday and you documented things that happened at the tempo practice very well, and you give us some insight. So I'm going to read that right now. Kerfuffles 80, our tempo redditor of the day, this is normal, has written these in. These are notes from the practice yesterday with Chelsea Light. Julie Alamont should be good to go tomorrow. She participated in practice fully today. Temi, Kiki, and Brittany will all be out. Also, Sykes has now joined during doing her solo work, while Kiki Rice is present at practice today, but not participating with the team, but doing conditioning work on her own with staff. No boot, ankle wrapped, or taped. See, this is the insight. This is exactly it, Chelsea. This is exactly it. You're doing it. I love it. You're going to be Blake Murphy for the tempo. You're going to be Blake Murphy. I see it. The tempo have a birthday cake at practice for Julie Alamont today. It's her 30th birthday. They're all going around the end of the practice huddles saying something they love about Julie. That's so sweet and nice. Sandy Brondello on the impact new tempo owner Kyle Lowry has had on the tempo on Toronto. I just think he's a legend. He had so much success here, but to come back and actually want to invest in the women's team, I mean, so shows so much about him as a human being. And obviously his wife too. I think that's pretty special. It's great. I look forward, hopefully, can come to some practices and be an inspiration for us as well. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Kyle comes into tempo practice and maybe he has some nice words and things to teach Kiki Rice. Maybe he has all kinds of things to help encourage the team in general to get to the next level. But yeah, him being in part of it, I mean, this ownership group is very inspiring. You get Masai to come in and talk to them, yeah, you'll run through a wall for him. Serena Williams, I think she knows what she's talking about when she's talking about competition and being an athlete. Yeah, this ownership group is a great group to kind of mine help for the team. Kyle Lowry, add him to the list. So thank you, Chelsea Light, and thank you, Kerfuffles, for information. That's all I've been asking for is information. Let's check in on our CBL update for the day. Last night, Vancouver Bandits beat Saskatoon in the only game last night. It was a huge game for Jarkel Joyner. There's a lot of controversy in the CBL this season. Their coach just left the team to go coach in China for the Vancouver Bandits. And their best player from earlier in the season got vanquished from the league for the incident with the fan and has not been playing for them since. That's Jalen House. So Jarkel Joyner steps up and he gets the last shot of the game. He hit the game winner in target score time last night. 14 points for the former Raptors 905er from last year. Leading scorer for the team was Tevin Brown with 28 points on 11 of 18 shooting overall. Yeah, great game for the Bandits. They stay near the top of the Western Conference in the CBL with the win over Saskatoon last night. Yeah, so good job by the Bandits, and they had a good crowd at Merlis Belcher Place last night. Tonight, there is a game in the CBL. If you want to go to it, it is going to be Montreal Alliance at Ottawa Blackjacks at the arena at TD Place. So check out that rivalry, Montreal and Ottawa, at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube or in person or on CBC Gem or CBL Plus. So yeah, that's an important matchup for the Eastern Conference as far as like the jumble in the middle. Somebody's going to fall out and miss the playoffs. And Niagara, Ottawa, and Montreal, none of those three want to be that team. Brampton is falling a little bit themselves right now. Scarborough is the top team in the league, and they aren't being messed with at all. So check out your Canadian Elite Basketball League action in your neck of the woods on YouTube for free. Or yeah, go to the game. Seriously, real quick. I forgot to do this yesterday, and I feel so stupid. I forgot to do my straight goods on Canadian goods yesterday, so I'm going to do it right now. And well, it's a book, and I've covered this book before on the show, but I want to do it again since I went to Jamaica versus Canada on Monday night and saw the great Shai Gilgeous-Alexander perform on the court for the first time live. I'd never seen him play live before until Monday. I want to promote Oren Weisfeld's book, The Golden Generation. This book is awesome. First of all, it's written by a Canadian about our Canadian team. And I'll just read a little bit about it real quick right here. This is the definitive story of Canadian basketball from Steve Nash to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Why did it take 24 years for Team Canada to return to the Olympics? And what changed everything? The Golden Generation is the untold story of Canadian basketball, tracing the rise of NBA talent and the failures that held the program back. The players who transformed Canada into a global basketball powerhouse. So yeah, Oren did a really good job. He got over 100 original interviews with players, coaches, and insiders that shaped Canada basketball. So support Oren Weisfeld and buy his book, The Golden Generation. It's a fantastic account of our rise to power in the global basketball scene as a country of Canada. So yeah, this is the Straight Goods on Canadian Goods. I meant to talk about this yesterday, but yeah, check this book out at the bookstore. Go buy it. You know, maybe get it from the library if you want. I don't know. Get it something like that. I don't know, like that. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. The call is probably for the general Raptors fans. Two Raptors icons connecting, not us Vince haters. Yeah, and I'm a Vince hater, and I had no problem with the call. In some ways, this is a spice it up. Those reporters can be boring with their questions and their stuff. That CBC Kids guy was fun. He's like, I interviewed you when I was 12 and now I'm 20. And Kyle went, whoa. Spice things up. The press conference is more of an event. Kawhi's there and Vince is calling. That's important stuff. We got to have our icons intermingling in the whole thing, right? Let's do the Raptors Redditor of the day. This is going to be from a guy named Schrodinger's Cat Picks, and he's like, "Get that garbage out of here," is his flair. This is really cool. I saw this before, like a long time ago, but this guy's an artist, and he made a comic book cover back in 2020 during the bubble days with Kyle Lowry, and it's in the style of Archie comics. Like, there's very much a style that Archie comics had back in the day, with the eyes and the faces, but it's a cool comic book cover. And it says Kyle Lowry, the best from Philly, and it's got all this cool stuff. And it's even like in the corner, it's got the comics price, and it's got the little heads like Marvel used to do, like the X-Men. You'd see like the Wolverine and Nightcrawler and Colossus and Cyclops in the corner on an X-Men comic book, on a Marvel comic. Well, he's got like the Raptors little heads on there from that time, and it's cute. It's got Kyle, Pascal, OG, Mark, and Fred and little mini heads. You can tell it's who it is, but because he's a good artist. But yeah, this is really cool stuff. And I'd seen this before from 6 years ago, but I felt like this is a fantastic repost on Raptors Reddit yesterday. Congratulations, Schrodinger's Cat Picks. This is really good art. And honestly, he did this before AI and did it freehand. And in some ways, I appreciate that, especially with how lazy there's artists out there. Think of their artists when they're not doing art, they have no skill. They just told the computer to do something. Y'all that do AI art, you're not artists, okay? Writing a prompt is not being an artist. To have skill, you have to be able to do it with your hands. And well, I appreciate Schrodinger's Cat Picks. You are the Raptors Redditor of the day for your Kyle Lowry Archie-inspired comic book cover. It's very, very cool stuff. I love that. I love that so much. All right, let's see. Randolph's here. Good morning, Randolph. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks fam. The more truthful information you have will help you make sound decisions. Hearsay and speculation are not facts. Don't fight and lose relationships over that. Well, that's the problem. Powers that be will mislead and fool you and make you believe something, and you could actually hurt your life because you are misled. So really, critical thinking is really such an integral, important skill for all of us, not just young people, even us old codgers in this new world changing. We have to use our critical thinking skills on a higher level than ever because of AI, deep fakes, all kinds of other manipulations of reality. So this is so true. Randolph, this is so true. In fact, I'm going to piggyback off of your blessings and your words of wisdom. Blessings to the Phillips family, and with my human design check-in for today. Today, we're still in the gate of 53, which is gate 53 is the gate of beginnings. And right now, it's all about like the channel that we're in right now is one that I have active in my body all the time. It's called executive power. It's called maturation. And the whole concept of it is you start a project to finish it, right? So this is the whole idea of that. It's about beginning a project to try and see it through. Now, some projects don't ever get completed, and that's okay. But it's nice to have the other gate that goes with the 53rd gate, which is the gate 42, the gate of growth, which shows the completion of projects. Like, for instance, I'm a completionist. When I was a radio DJ, I could not play a song halfway through and then just cut it off. In fact, when I'm riding around in my car and somebody wants to switch the song, I say no, because we're going to listen to the whole song and we're going to finish it because I'm a completionist. This is actually in this channel that's in my body. Have you ever felt that where it's like, man, no, I got to complete this somehow, some way, an innate reason? Well, this is what this is. So we've got the power of the beginning of projects right now in the air this week. And we're on the second line today. And the theme for the day is momentum. And the idea is success breeds success. The detriment side of it is this: a tendency with early success to haste and imprudent action, the pressure based on success to be impatient for something new. So it's kind of the idea of if you're starting something new, right now is not totally the best time because it's Mercury retrograde. But overall, starting something new, you want to have the ability to have patience to see the process on the schedule that is natural for it. and to not get involved in it. And because you're so enthusiastic about it, you rush it. You want to let things unfold in the natural way when you're doing projects that you start and you want to finish. The exaltation of this line, momentum, is the protection of early success nurtures further achievement. The pressure to start something new based on past success. So, this very much may be a time, as I said yesterday, that you may want to revisit something that you tried to do before, but you were not successful doing it. That you could actually be successful this time doing it. So, yeah, there's your human design check in for today. We are in gate 53, line 2. And the idea is the gate of beginnings and momentum. That's the idea for today. I hope that you guys get something from this, even if it's kind of like, okay, Lex is doing his HD thing again. But these energies are powerful because they're energies that are coming from the planets and the stars and the astrology. This is what this is based on. They've married the idea of the placement of the heavenly bodies in the sky above with the heavenly bodies in our body. That the centers in our body have energies that get activated depending on where the placement of the sky is, and that you can get a really strong insight on when to do certain things or how things are or why you may be feeling a certain way from the aspects of the placements of the planets, and also in regards to your own individual human design system that you have in your chart. It's very heavy stuff. And the more I learn about it, the more I feel like I understand myself better and I'm able to live happier. That's the whole key to human design. It's not about money or anything like that. It's a system that's been made up and figured out in very deep ways through medicine and scientific stuff, through astronomy and through biology. And it's meant to be helpful to people as a tool to allow them to be more authentic and happier as themselves and accept themselves as they were created. That's really kind of it right there. Yeah, that's it right there. Kaloi's saying this. Hey, Lex, have you discussed what's been reported that Kawhi trade is not announced as the Clips are looking to move BI? No, is that something that's going on right now? That's like breaking news right now. Let me go see. If it's not on any of the people that I follow that are important that I trust, I'm going to just see it as bullshit and hot air, and something that we shouldn't be worried about. You know, if it's something that Grange or one of these guys is talking about right now, then maybe I'll talk about it. But otherwise, nah. It's just speculation. As I said earlier, Kaloy, the Kawhi trade is in line to go through by the NBA head office, and it may take a couple days. This is what Doug Smith has told us: is that there's a queue for all the trades to get processed, and they're doing all of them. They're doing Giannis, they're doing all the trades, and they don't do them all at once. They have an office that processes them. So we're in line to get this done. It may not be a delay. It may be already figured out, but the NBA head office has to go through all of the deals. And you know how many deals there have been in this free agency period already in the summer. That's what this is. We're like in line at Wonderland to get on the bat is what's going on right now. So hopefully we'll get on the ride soon and get to toss our cookies as we go backwards through a backwards loop that is so devastatingly tough on us with G forces. You guys go on the bat at Canada's Wonderland ever? You know what I'm talking about. That's right. So we're in line. We got to get to the front of the line, and then they'll process our deal, right? That's what it is right there. All right, let's see. We got a birthday today. And this is actually a guy who's very popular among his teammates when he was on the Raptors. Somebody who gets forgotten, and that's Sonny Weems. Happy birthday to Sonny Weems. He is 40 years old today. It's a big birthday. You know, Sonny Weems was born with cleft feet. And as a child, he was told he might not be able to walk or run. This is very Forrest Gump. Seriously. Think about that. Sonny Weems was told as a young child, you may never be able to walk. And look what he did. He became an NBA player. That's right. Of course, Sonny played for the Raptors in 2009 to 2011 as an early teammate of DeMar DeRozan. They bonded very, very strongly. They were the young guns. And well, DeMar has been very open about talking about when Sonny left, the first person that left, that was the first time it hit him hard that this is a business. That Sonny Weems was his guy, one of his best friends, and the Raptors let him go. And that was hard for him. And that's one of the early lessons for DeMar DeRozan about the business of the NBA. Yeah, Sonny's gone all over the place since playing for us. He did jump back into the NBA for a second around 2015, 2016 with the Phoenix Suns and the Philadelphia 76ers. But if I'm looking at his list, he played in Lithuania, he played in Russia, he played in Israel, he played in China, he's played in a lot of places. And he's currently still playing, guys, even at 40. He plays for the Zhizhou Cultural Tourism Team. And he's been in China, playing in China for a while. He's played for Guangdong Southern Tigers a couple different times. So we're going to say happy birthday to a CBA Finals MVP of 2020, a three-time CBA champion, an all EuroLeague first team 2014. He's an LKF Cup winner. Yeah, he's first team all SEC at Arkansas Razorbacks. Sonny Weems, happy 40th birthday. We're going to give you a nice tribute. An underrated, forgotten Raptor, but never forgotten by DeMar. That's for sure right there. Yeah, that's our birthday for today. No other birthdays on the birthday list for today. Y'all check your fantasy WNBA teams. If you're in the Raptor Freak fantasy WNBA, definitely check on your teams and keep your players coming into the lineup so you can be having the best competitive edge in that. I guess we're right up on 2 hours. We'll do the classic card and we'll get out of here. Right on time. I'll do a review over the tempo stuff one more time for the game today, and then we'll get out. We'll get going, and I'll go pick up the weight and start working out. Let's see. Who is that? I can't read that. Why can I not read that? That doesn't even look like him. All right. Here we go. Classic card of the day. Who is the player on this card? Not the player who's getting hit in the Lakers jersey. The player who's up in the air, flying through the air and making that shot. All right, let's see who gets it. This one's tough, man. This one's tough. I'll give you all clues after guesses. Somebody makes a full name guess. I'll give you a clue on the first name. They're on the Warriors, and it looks like that says guard. A guard for the Warriors. And I think that's Sam Perkins getting hit there. If that gives you a little bit of a time frame for when this card may have came out. So yeah, first and last name, please. Full name answer on the classic card and who this player is. This is a tough card. When I looked at it, I was like, I didn't recognize him, but he is a known player. He's very much a known player. And it's kind of weird. You'll realize who it is afterwards. In fact, I think this is an early card for him. And that's why it looks so weird, because it's like him in the beginning of his career, but he's much more well known for being on another team. And he's not known for being on the Warriors, but he was on the Warriors when he first started. And that's this card. All right, classic card of the day. Full name answer will get the card points. And this one's a hard one. So I'm thinking that this may be a 200-point score right here if you can get this one. So please write in your answer. Make sure you're live. I've lost a lot of y'all, it looks like, over the stream for a second. But whoever's still here, can you get this classic card? It's a tough one. It's not a good angle to see his face. You can't see his jersey number. And so it is kind of tough for anybody who kind of has their tricks for how they kind of try and figure this out. Yeah, what do you think? Give me a guess, Fiercey, or anyone. Just write in a name, and it can be John Smith. I don't care. And then I'll give you the clue. That's the thing. If you write in a guess, I'll give you a clue immediately. It's just I don't want to give any clues before the guesses. So I kind of like to see what y'all think just off the top of your head without a clue. And then we'll give you a guess. As I said, I think that's Sam Perkins there getting hit. He looks kind of funny, a little dramatic there, buddy. A little dramatic. All right, I'm going to end the stream in the next 2 minutes. So if nobody wants to try and guess this, this will be a classic card that just goes nowhere, and we will drop it because nobody's guessing. Nobody's writing anything in. We got a few people here. Fiercey, just write a name. Just write a name, okay? Just write a name. I don't care if you think it's right or not. You can make up a name. Say Fundiblio Bottoms or something like that, or Johnny Walker Red 4 or something like that. I don't give a shit what the name is. Just make a guess. PJ Tucker. Okay. All right. The first name of this player is the same name as the most famous video game character in the history of video games. The first name of this player, yeah, this is older. That's fine. I'm just saying I won't give any clues until somebody puts a guess in. The first name of this player is the most famous name of a video. Yes, that is the first name of this player. So maybe somebody will seagull you now because we know the first name of this player at this point. So let's see if anybody jumps on it and seagulls you. Either that, you could figure it out yourself. You could go find out all the people that were named that in the league and try and decipher who that is. Yeah, that's the right first name. The most famous video game character in the world ever is Mario from Super Mario Brothers and Donkey Kong. So this is the first name of this player. So you got to get the last name now. It's a full name thing. Man, it's 2 hours. We did not get it on the clock. There you go. That's right. It's Mario Ellie. Mario Ellie, as a rookie, was on Golden State before he went to Houston and played with Olajuwon and Sam Cassell and all those guys. So Fiercey's going to get the 200 points for the classic card today. Mario Ellie. Yeah, I couldn't read that at first. I was like, who is that? Couldn't read that at first. So yeah, it's just very early in his career. You can see it's his rookie card, actually. Mario Ellie rookie card. Right there. Yeah, you got it, Fiercey. See, that's all you got to do. That's the technique you should use every time you're here is just guess a blind guess, even if you have no idea, and I will give you the clue and you'll get there. You'll get there because I want to get these classic cards done. I don't like seeing a failure. Nobody tries, and then it just goes away, and I'm like, well, we just didn't get the classic card today. We need to get it, and I will help y'all get it. So 200 points for Fiercey on Mario Ellie. Yeah, that's the classic card of the day. There you go. Good job, Fiercey. High five yourself. That's right. Self high five. DDP. That's right. When are the WNBA cards starting? Trevor tried to send them to me, and they got all screwed up. I don't know what's happening with the WNBA cards. I'm kind of like, I'm not expecting them. I'm just like, if they happen, that's great. But Trevor can do whatever he wants to do if he wants to or not, That's it. All right, let's do the recap real quick. No injuries for the Valkyries tonight, but Sykes, Rice, and Fagbenle are out for the Tempo. Julie will be playing. She is not out, so she'll be playing. And as I said, nobody's out for the Valkyries. They've got good health. The referees for today are going to be Angelica Suffren, Marcy Williams, and Josh Reed. We're 1-1 with Angelica, 2-1 with Marcy, and no record with Josh. He has not reffed us yet. So 3-2, the overall record with the referees today in the ref report. My keys to the victory are basically play as best as y'all can. Try and box out, play tough defense, try and stop them, but also try and get your offense going because Marina can't be the only engine going for us offensively. We need a couple of y'all to step up and rise above and get at least double digits. It'd be great if one of y'all could get 20 points. Maria Conde, you go get 20 points. Isabel Harrison, can you go get 20 points? That's what I'm saying. We need a lot of people to help with the production to be able to be competitive to win in the WNBA. And this homestand has not been going well for them. So we got to start salvaging some wins. We're at 9-11 with our record now. And we're getting further away from that last playoff spot. And, well, in some ways, we're destined to probably not be a playoff team. But there's still a chance. They could maybe do something. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow with a reaction to the Golden State Valkyries versus the Toronto Tempo tomorrow. I'll be here at 9:30 a.m. to talk about it, go over the box score, do my stars of the game, and hopefully we talk about a Tempo victory because we did beat Golden State. All right, I'll see y'all. That's right, y'all. Respect the Kalo. That's right. And Kawhi, welcome back. I'm waiting to hear the news about you signing up with us and being back in the fold officially. And maybe we will get another press conference this week with Leonard instead of Lowry. And yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Support Team Canada. Support the Tempo. Support the Raptors. Support basketball in Canada. And I'll be back. Support the CBL. I'll be back tomorrow, 9:30. Let's go, Toronto Tempo.